If you have Medicare Part D, Walgreens can put you at the corner of switching your prescriptions and saving some money. That's because Walgreens makes it easy to switch and save with copays as low as $0 on select Medicare Part D plans. Just bring us your prescriptions and we'll do the rest. Switch to save even more today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Applies to Tier 1 generics for select plans.
The Battery, modern-day fire, powering everything from remote-control cars to the car in your garage. So when your car battery is reaching the end of the line, or you're wondering whether it is, stop by Advance Auto Parts. We'll test your old one for you, free of charge. And if you purchase a new Autocraft battery, we'll install it for free. Only if you'd like us to, of course. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Bay Propeller is the region's best prop shop. With 25 years under his belt, Max Allen and a team of highly skilled techs provide fast, quality service on all types of boat propellers. From 8 to 80 inches, Bay Propeller utilizes MRI propeller scan technology and dynamic spin balance. Distributor for many brands, Bay Propeller ensures you get the right propeller for your needs at discounted prices, with emphasis on made-in-the-USA propellers. Bay Propeller, next to Portsmouth Trailer Supply in Chesapeake. Call 485-5681. BayPropeller.com.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. This very beautiful Wednesday, January 28th. 3 more days left in this month. Moving on to February for the big game on the 1st. Glad you're with us. My name is Greg Bicouvaris, getting you through the work week every Wednesday from 12 to 1 right here. This is Sports Scene, an interview show. Also, don't forget to watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. This is your home for CBS News. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook. Find me on Twitter. 4 different ways. Get that pen ready. Greg Bick, Sports Highlight, GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military for what you do 24/7 for us. Great guest lineup as well. Today, of course, we're going to have Mike Corey, Sonny Dearth, and Brenda Van Dorn on. Sponsors on GJBTV.com, marketplace sponsors, and the homepage. And, of course, the guest lineup presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. 4 marketplace pages for you to buy, shop, and visit as well. So right there, a phone line presented by Spaghetti Eddies in Chesapeake with 2 locations. And of course, we got Bay Propeller, Spaghetti Eddies, and Crawl Space with us. Big stuff going on with the big game this week on Sunday with the Patriots and Deflategate and the Seahawks. Will the Seahawks be able to repeat? To me, that's the biggest story. Now, let's move on past Deflategate. That's an issue. But will the Seahawks be able to repeat? We'll talk about it all upcoming right here on Sports Scene, on the radio on 1650 AM, on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Again, Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Browse, shop, and visit today. Stay tuned.
Bay Propeller is the region's best prop shop. With 25 years under his belt, Max Allen and a team of highly skilled techs provide fast, quality service on all types of boat propellers. From 8 to 80 inches, Bay Propeller utilizes MRI propeller scan technology and dynamic spin balance. Distributor for many brands, Bay Propeller ensures you get the right propeller for your needs at discounted prices, with emphasis on made-in-the-USA propellers. Bay Propeller, next to Portsmouth Trailer Supply in Chesapeake. Call 485-5681. BayPropeller.com.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddies, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddies. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Rack City chick, 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 10, 20s and a 50s chick, rack city chick, rack city chick.
All right, 12:11 right here on Sports Scene, your 10,000-watt voice of Hampton Roads, 1650 News Talk, your home for CBS News. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT, that's WHKT, to listen on your phone or your computer anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. With you, life is mobile. Take Hampton Roads Online Mall.com with you. Browse, shop, and visit the sponsors today. Worked with Mike Corey several times over the years on ESPN, NBC Sports Network. Of course, former voice of Delaware, very connected with the CAA. You've seen him doing bowl games as well. Let's welcome him back to Sports Scene. We had him on here a few months ago. Mike, how are you today?
Hey, good, Greg. How you doing, man?
Good, my friend. How's the weather, first of all, in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, it was totally fine. It was a major false alarm down here. Everybody gets all crazy. They said, 1 to 2 feet of snow. I think we less than an inch down here in Delaware the other day. I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the weather people, and of course, you do live sports as well. We all do here. And of course, you look at what they have to go through. Just because it's bad in Boston doesn't mean it's bad everywhere else.
Right, I know. They kind of, I was over in Jersey 2 days. I closed all the schools down, Monday night. And obviously, there was nothing, so it wasn't even that bad. But hey, you deal with it. At least something's coming. It just wasn't what they expected.
Well, listen, before we get to the basketball, what you're doing today as well, upcoming in top 25 and so forth, let's talk about the big game going on Sunday, 6:30 on NBC. We promoted it this past Saturday during the William Mary Northeastern game. To me, now the biggest question is, beyond Deflategate, will Seattle be able to repeat?
Yeah, I know. It's like it's about time, right? I mean, with all that stuff going on, let's start talking about how great this game is going to be. I mean, you got number one versus number one, on each side. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's I don't know. There's so many elements that they blow everything out of proportion, obviously, with the Super Bowl and all the coverage. But I don't know. I just think it's going to be a great game. I mean, get past the football stuff and just say, hey, okay, let's talk about what this game is going to be about. And you get two great teams and two good coaches, let's say quarterbacks. I mean, Russell Wilson's numbers are pretty amazing, for the short time that he's been in the league. Already has a Super Bowl. Of course, about Tom Brady. So there's a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and you talk about, we got to mention Deflategate just for a second, that sometimes in broadcasting in the media, we take the officials, we take balls, the footballs, the basketballs, the baseballs, the tennis balls for granted. In tennis, they switch them every few games. They switch them. Baseball, constantly switching the baseballs. Footballs, the officials for the most part handle them. And if they're too wet, too dry, too moist, whatever, they switch the footballs. And basketballs, they can be, with all the bouncing, they can be flat as well. I think, if nothing else, Mike, this has made us more aware of what these athletes, and officials have to deal with all the time.
Well, yeah, exactly. And, I'm just surprised that if this is so egregious, why it wasn't really talked about throughout the game, or if the officials, you're right, they're handling the balls too,
right.
Both teams are handling them, all the players handle them, the officials. I mean, they didn't say anything. If it was that bad, as they're about to throw a ball back in the play or set it down, you don't think they'd be like, oh, this seems a little deflated here. I'm sure they would have figured it out. I don't know, not arguing with the situation, with the whole way it's been talked about. But, I mean, I don't know, during the game maybe, let's, we wait to the end, it's almost like you're a sore loser. Oh, yeah, well, the balls are deflated. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You lost 38 points. It wasn't even like it was close. I'm just saying, And from what I've been seeing about, with the whole thing is that the balls are fine in the second half. It's like, well, that's when they destroyed you. So like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, because the officials touch them more than anybody else. Especially then there's players, Mike, that even at the college level, they'll keep the football, they'll throw them in the stands to the fans. If they were so worried, they wouldn't be doing any of that.
Right. I saw a funny picture on social media, or whatever, with Gronkowski with the way he likes to spike the footballs really hard, and it says, of course they're deflated, and it has a picture of him like, spiking them, so they scored so many touchdowns. But I don't know. Yeah, looking forward to watching the real game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we're talking to Mike Corey of ESPN NBC Sports Network. Mike, kind of give us up to par what you're doing now. At one time, you were the voice of Delaware on the radio. You evolved working for several national TV networks in football and basketball primarily, and you do a lot of lacrosse for ESPN. Talk about what's upcoming for you.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I mean, just the college basketball right now, mostly for NBCSN, which is great. Work with you at a few games, and we do the CAA and the Atlantic 10. That's pretty much the two conferences and kind of package that I'm on there. Then, once the spring comes, it'll be lacrosse probably for, I think, now the 5th consecutive year. I've done that for ESPN. It'll be on ESPNU. Just doing, a bunch of games here and there, Johns Hopkins, Princeton. Some really good teams coming into the landscape of college lacrosse these days with Michigan and Ohio State, and they're adding teams, and the sport's growing. It's a lot of fun. I like doing that. So that'll be the winter, spring for me, and hopefully get a little break there in the summer.
Now, Johns Hopkins is moving to a different conference too, right, for lacrosse?
Yeah, going to the Big Ten. So, huge move for them. They've been independent forever, and then now they're going to have a conference, which is great because if they don't end up having, the kind of season sometimes you hope to have, or you miss a game here or there, you lose one or two you shouldn't have. Now they don't feel like so handicapped where they have no other chance to get into the tournament because they can win their conference championship, so it's a great thing. I think it's a huge move for them. They're going to play great competition. They've always played great competition, so it's a good move for them.
Talking to Mike Corey from ESPN, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us on Sports Scene on the radio, 1650. Lock it in, tell your friends. Of course, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Mike, how familiar were you with Trevor Cooney, who plays for Syracuse? Unbelievable kid from Wilmington, Delaware. He's a junior, and he just lit up the other night against Carolina. They still lost to the Tar Heels, but this Cooney is an old-school shooter who can shoot from anywhere on the floor.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the country. I mean, the guy's awesome. Yeah, from Delaware, played high school ball here. I mean, he was, you look around, and I think a lot of discussion here sometimes are, like, how come you can't keep the local kids and stuff like that? So, well, because he's going to go play for Syracuse. And, I mean, the guy he's awesome. It's a great story. I know a couple of his friends around here, actually, some people that are friends with him and stuff. I've talked to him a few times about it. But, yeah, they love watching him play. He got a great shooting stroke. And, I mean, he's liable to go off like that, in certain games. We've seen it over the past couple of years. But, fun player to watch for Cuse. Yeah,
him and Christmas are a great 1-2 punch for Syracuse. Yeah. And this is not a dominant Syracuse team, but him and Christmas together are excellent players. And you need that. You need a lot of depth in college basketball or the NBA. Well, let's talk about tell the fans that you had a chance to experience a bowl game. Tell us how that was.
Yeah, that was fun. I got asked to do the Heart of Dallas Bowl, which was actually played at the old Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. Of course, the Cotton Bowl is now at the new Cowboys Stadium there, AT&T Stadium. So, but it was fun. I mean, it was a really cool atmosphere. It was Louisiana Tech and Illinois, two teams, haven't really been to a bowl for a while, so they were excited and drew pretty good fan support. Obviously, you're not going to pack that place. It's a 90,000-seat stadium, pretty old, but, very historic, obviously. It's in the Texas State Fairgrounds, and we had a great time. Actually flew down Christmas afternoon. But met with the whole crew and had a nice dinner and meeting. Yeah, I really felt pretty good. Got to do Christmas with the family the day before. But it was a fun game. And that was ESPN, and obviously you get a few more bells and whistles when you're on the flagship, which is really cool. And I thought it came out pretty good. Really enjoyed it, and it's something fun to be a part of, and excited to be asked to do something like that.
Absolutely. Talking to Mike Corey, and 30-plus bowl games, a lot of them on the ESPN family of networks. And looking back just a few weeks, Ohio State wins the national championship with a third-string quarterback. I think, people just forgot about the BCS. That obviously did not work, but Ohio State-Oregon was a good matchup. Ohio State dominated, Wisconsin. Then they beat a good Alabama team, and then they beat Oregon. But it looks like the teams were correct in Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, as well. And, of course, you can't get it totally perfect, but it was not bad for the first year.
No, I don't think it was. I mean, for the first year, hey, and they're going to expand it, obviously. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And it'll go to 8, and then everybody will, yell and scream how come the ninth place team got let out. But you know what? Hey, it's a great start. I think it's awesome. The only thing about it was, like, the rankings. I'm sure you can pick that apart. And, TCU is in there, now they're out. It's like, that kind of stinks because, you feel like you did what you need to do. But you got to stay with it, I guess. And, Ohio State's 59-0 win, that certainly helped their cause, obviously. So that's a little tough with the rankings. Like, I'm just kind of under the impression that, whether or not you thought they were the best team in the nation or not, which obviously they did not think so, and I don't think a lot of other people did. Like, I'm talking about Florida State here at this point, because Florida State won the national championship, and it's undefeated, okay? Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I don't understand how you ever lose the number one ranking until you lose a game. Like, let's just take Duke, okay, in college basketball. If they win the national championship, right, and they're 15-0 the next year, is there any reason why they are not ranked number one? I mean, you're the defending champ. Like, you lose your spot when you get dethroned. So it's like, it was almost funny because there was talk at some point, like, Florida State was still undefeated, and they're like sitting there in the number 3, maybe the number 4 spot. Like, are they not going to be in the the Final Four? It's like, right. Are you kidding me? Like, that was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Like, I don't care whether you think they're good or not. Like, they haven't lost.
Right.
Like, and you can break down the schedule. Oh, they didn't play good teams. Oh, they're not playing the toughest schedule. They did not lose. There has to be weight given to, if you look all across college football, nobody went undefeated. So, like, I don't care who you play, you got to be given some respect for that, because that's impressive. I mean, that was like the Wichita State last year, college basketball. Oh, yeah, they're not that good. Listen, they're undefeated. Do you know what it takes to go and do that? Like pressure, the interviews, the teams you play, the gearing up after you, and all this kind of stuff, and all the things you have to do outside of playing on the court to maintain that level of dominance. I mean, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Exactly, because the pressure in and out for 2 years in a row. Florida State's debate about them being in it was negative, because they deserved every single bit of that. They got beat by a better Oregon team that day, just like Ohio State beat a good Oregon team. It all clicked for Ohio State, and that's what it's all about. Towards March Madness or college football or the Super Bowl, whatever, it clicks. Seattle started off slow this year.
Right.
Look at them, where they at right now.
Right, and they say, oh, well, they barely beat those teams, or they barely skated by in those 5 games. They barely won. Yeah, I know, but that's why they're a good team, because they're able to win those close teams. They're able to battle back from a 21-0 deficit and still win the game. Other teams that fold, like, that's got to show what that team is all about, to be able to continue to just keep doing that. Like, that's, you've seen it all the time with teams trying to get better and they lose close games. Oh, I lost some close games. They just couldn't get over the hump. Well, when you're able to get over the hump and always somehow be able to finish that, that's when you're a good and experienced, ball club. So,
right.
I mean, that's just kind of my opinion with the whole Florida State thing. But, they didn't win. They weren't one of the best, apparently, at the end. But, up until that point, they got to get a lot of credit.
This is Sports Scene live on the radio right here at 1223. News Talk 1650, 10,000 watts. Punch it in your radio right here on your car, your home, wherever you might be. Also, take it with you mobily, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or computer. One question I want to ask you, they just had media day yesterday. You saw Marshawn Lynch give that, that standard question, because he's very awkward about doing interviews. Obviously, I think a lot of times, this, Mike, when you go to a press conference after a game, coaches are a little bit more rigid with the media, but you do a one-on-one in a controlled environment. It's totally different for coaches and players.
Yeah, no, it is, and I think we only get what we see and what we know.
Sure.
It's hard to even understand, like, who these kind of people really are. Like, if we had an interview or ask the poll, like 10 different people what they thought of, Bill Belichick, it's like, he doesn't give you that stuff, because that's just that's just kind of how he does it. I mean, I've actually met the guy. I've talked to him for a little while. I saw him at a lacrosse game. He's friends with John Thompson's head coach, Dave Petramala. He grew up in the Annapolis area. He's a huge lacrosse fan, and he was down there for a game 1 year and 2 years ago, and I met him. And we just talked for a little bit, and he has the same sort of demeanor, like, oh yeah, hey, how you doing? But like really cool and like a funny guy, like a really great person, And I think we all take what we see from him and his, interviews. Like, man, this is what I have to say. Like that, you like this guy, and you can't stand him, but he's amazing. He's brilliant because he doesn't give you something to take or not all the time, but to twist, and the more you put out there, the more stuff can get misconstrued,
right?
Or the more you can attack people for things. Or you said this. Remember you said this back then. Like he doesn't say anything, and
right.
That's for a reason. Like so that he doesn't get this, like he tries to take away the media and the pressure from his team because it's a distraction, And obviously this Deflategate is speaking of distractions, but nothing he can do there. He has to figure out a way to figure this out for now, but. In just daily games and conversations, no, he's not going to give you a lot of information, and that's done for a reason, and that's why they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Belichick's a good example of less is more. Greg Bicouvaris
right.
talking to Mike Corey right here on Sports Scene right here at 12:25. A few more minutes with Mike, and you talk about, we played that clip that was so famous. We're on to Cincinnati, and we played it last week, and after that game, they were a totally different team. They were focused, they were driven, and sometimes in life, we put it as a life perspective, you just have to move on from the past regardless of what's going on and look to the next day, the next game, the next whoever, next relationship, whatever. And we really made a very relevant point. Let me ask you this too. Speaking of media and media days, when you're a voice of a team, let's say like Delaware, or you work for a specific team, you work with the same analyst pretty much home and away games. What is the challenge for you sometimes working with a different analyst every single game, whether it's football, basketball, or lacrosse?
Yeah, it would be. It's a good point because it hasn't been every single game, but it has been a lot actually. So I mean, there was a lot of times this year, college football mostly, because I think they were just kind of trying to see where I could do and where I could be and kind of help out. I was more of the I'd say backup, but I was like doing a couple of games here and there, different networks, different things, and I think I showed them a little bit. So that's why I probably got the bowl game, which is nice and I appreciate it. But the fact is that, when you're not on a consistent or one crew or it's Monday Night Football or whatever it is, you're going to have different people, which is actually interesting. The bowl game, I worked with a new person there. That was Charles Arbuckle, who's normally in the studio, does a really nice job. And I had a great time with him. He was great. Everything worked out well. So, I wouldn't say as much with the analysts as it is sometimes with, like you have producers and directors and all those kind of people. That's where it becomes a little different because they're the ones running the show. They put the whole format together. They kind of, they're not the ones saying everything, but you got to work with those people, and that's more about where you're headed, where you're going, how they operate. The analyst has been great. I've never had a problem with anybody I've worked with. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. And sometimes you're right. It's just been that week. Boom, here we are. First game we've done together. Okay, here we go. I mean, I'll talk to them beforehand, during the week, and we'll try to go over some stuff. But, you don't know until you get on the air and you realize, oh, okay, this is this or he does this. But it's not that hard. I mean, it's just a balance of how much you're talking. And, most of the time I like to kind of joke around too and, have some fun because, people are investing, 2 or 3 or 4 hours into something. You want to make it enjoyable for them. So, but it hasn't been that hard. I mean, it's more of the crew behind you, the different people that you work with week to week. That's what kind of makes it difficult. And getting emailed by 14 different people, sometimes new people, you're like,
right.
Okay, like how are we going to work this? But it always ends up working out.
Talking to Mike Corey from ESPN, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Final few moments. You saw William and Mary. They're really trying to get to the big dance. Of course, it all comes down to what they do at the CAA tournament. What do you think? They look pretty good. There's no more George Mason, no more Old Dominion, no more VCU to worry about. So there's but still, there's teams out there, including Delaware, that have always given them fits.
Yeah, I mean, you're always as good as your last game, I guess, right? I mean, it really is true. I mean, you look around and let's just go back and think real quick to the football example of the Patriots. They got their butt kicked by Kansas City. Oh, they're terrible. Forget it. Brady's old. Not going to happen this year. And I won't lie. I was kind of one of those people that thought somewhat of the same thing, but until you break it down and realize what the deal is, well, half their offensive line was hurt for that game. Oh, Gronkowski wasn't healthy. Da-da-da-da. Now you realize, okay, now they're in the Super Bowl. So that was just a bad blip in the radar. Same with William and Mary. I mean, they had no business losing to Delaware. I mean,
right.
They were here. I mean, they were up by 16 points in the second half. Delaware obviously just, has lost everybody from last year's title team, so that's understandable. But you can't lose that game if you're William and Mary. So, but they did. Then they come back and they play and they take care of the number one team in the conference, and Northeastern, and they handily defeat them. I mean, we were there. They were up big. Let them come back, but then they, exerted authority again and took a big double-digit, point win. So it's like, they're a great team. I mean, I love Tony Shaver. I think that guy is awesome. I mean, he just does a great job. He's just one of the nicest people out there, and he's brilliant. I mean, he takes a team where it's very tough, to get into a school like that because it's a very good school. I mean, you've got to find the players that are, very good in the classroom that want to do it right and are also very athletic and, solid basketball players. And he's been, fortunate to be able to do that and build it up. I mean, 3 CAA championship games in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's with VCU and Old Dominion and George Mason and those teams. So I give him a ton of credit. I mean, it's hard because everybody asks me, how do you stay neutral? And I am. I'm neutral for every game I do. But, I mean, in a way, I'd love to see, William and Mary get to the tournament. It's like they deserve it. They work hard. They really put it out there. And they do the best with what they have. I mean, you can see guys on that team that, maybe aren't necessarily the best Division I college basketball players, but they end up, succeeding because of the system he has and the teamwork that they put together and the way he runs that program. And it's like, you want to see teams like that do well. So, if they get another opportunity at it, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing, them get that over the hump there and get to their first NCAA tournament history.
Mike, real quick, finally, what's your next game? Go ahead and promote your next game upcoming.
Yeah, we got Davidson at St. Joe's on Saturday up in Philadelphia, which should be a pretty good one in the Atlantic 10. Both teams have the rest of the week to kind of get ready for it. And normally there's like a Wednesday or Thursday game for each team, but they played already, so it's been good. So looking forward to that game, and that'll be on NBC, and we're right at the top of the noon hour.
Very good. All right, give us your prediction. What do you think about Sunday's big game?
Well, people are like, oh. But I grew up in New England, so I'm actually a really big Patriots fan. I grew up in Vermont. I used to go to the games way back when it was at the old Foxborough Stadium.
Sure.
It was just a stadium that was crappy and a field and a two-lane highway getting in and out of there. So I've had a pretty strong allegiance to those guys for quite some time. But I don't know. I'd like to say that the Patriots, I think, win the game. It's like, I think with everything going on, you're just like, all right, put that to bed. Brady, get out there, start strong. If he doesn't start strong, or they don't get off to like a lead, or at least, be right around a 3-point ball game, I could kind of see it going the other way, because there's some of those games where they just don't have it, and it's tough to get it back. Obviously, we saw last year with Peyton Manning, but even the best, like even him, even Brady, even those games where you're playing from behind all the time, or you're in third and 8, third and 13 all day, it seems. Those don't work out too well for those guys, or I don't think anybody for that matter. So they got to be right in it. They need to have a lead. They got to keep it in a 3-point ball game, and I really feel like they prevail in the end.
They still wear those. I wish they'd still wear those classic red uniforms they used to. They still occasionally wear them once in a while, but not that often.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that Grogan in New England made the Super Bowl too one time. They seem to forget Steve Grogan as well. He made it.
Well, I remember that. Yeah, that was against Chicago. They played the Bears way back. They got destroyed, but that was and then the Patriots even before Brady in 1997 with Bledsoe and company lost to Green Bay. So
sure.
They were there even before that too. So before all this happened, they had a couple appearances, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, Mike. Well, safe travels. Good luck this weekend in your game, and we'll see you down the road, my friend.
Hey, you got a good talking to you as always. Have a great one.
You too. My pleasure. All right, Mike Corey right there from ESPN and NBC Sports Network. Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson right here on your home for 1650. TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT to listen. Also 1650 on your radio. 1233. We'll be back after these messages with more Sports Scene. Hi, this is Greg Bicouvaris. Join me for Sports Scene each Wednesday from noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650 WHKT. You can also hear the show on TuneIn as well. We will talk to local, regional, and nationally acclaimed sports guests, and we'll interact with our audience as well at Greg Bick on Twitter. Sports Scene, Wednesdays from noon to 1 right here on 1650 AM.
Bay Propeller is the region's best prop shop. With 25 years under his belt, Max Allen and a team of highly skilled techs provide fast, quality service on all types of boat propellers. From 8 to 80 inches, Bay Propeller utilizes MRI propeller scan technology and dynamic spin balance. Distributor for many brands, Bay Propeller ensures you get the right propeller for your needs at discounted prices, with emphasis on made-in-the-USA propellers. Bay Propeller, next to Portsmouth Trailer Supply in Chesapeake. Call 485-5681. BayPropeller.com.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com Marketplace Pages.
And want to thank Mike Corey from ESPN NBC Sports Network for joining us right there just momentarily. Of course, Sonny Dearth will be coming up from the Daily Press as well. Thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Ken, the technical guru here at the radio station as well.
Which means he just hit the microphone.
Yes,
nothing but the best.
And people like us at One Air, I've done some stage managing work, but it's like, when you do on air, you do on air. When you do behind the scenes, you do behind the scenes. And I realized a long time ago, Ken, that you have to do both. You really have to do both to succeed in this business.
Crisis engineering.
And also sell as well. We'll get to Sonny Dearth in just a moment. Don't forget gjbtv.com for archive shows. Click the YouTube link on the homepage. On Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, HROnlineMall.com. Don't forget to browse, shop, and visit HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Save the date for Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. Back again next week. Business Spotlight Scene coming up a little bit later. What Teased Me Off, always a lot of fun. Sports Highlights on nnpstv.com. You can, of course, watch it and listen to it as well right there on nnpstv.com. Sonny Dearth has it, the TV radio log. The Dr. Mary V. Bicouvaris Memorial Tennis Tournament, folks, will take place April 15th at 5 o'clock at Peninsula Catholic High School in Newport News. Will be taped and shown on TV a little bit later. Great guests like always. Super Bowl coming up, of course, the Pats and the Seahawks. To me, the big story now is, will the Seahawks repeat? Deflategate, of course, college basketball, a great game this past Saturday with Northeastern and Wayne Mary. Wayne Mary won it. And, of course, some big games as well. You got Notre Dame and Duke. You got UR and VCU coming up this Saturday as well, and Duke and Virginia. Stay tuned. We'll come back with Sonny Dearth right here live on 1650.
Bay Propeller is the region's best prop shop. With 25 years under his belt, Max Allen and a team of highly skilled techs provide fast, quality service on all types of boat propellers. From 8 to 80 inches, Bay Propeller utilizes MRI propeller scan technology and dynamic spin balance. Distributor for many brands, Bay Propeller ensures you get the right propeller for your needs at discounted prices, with emphasis on made-in-the-USA propellers. Bay Propeller, next to Portsmouth Trailer Supply in Chesapeake. Call 485-5681. BayPropeller.com.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
But first, let me take a selfie.
All right, Ken Johnson, thank you very much. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live on the radio right here on 1650 at 1238. You're home for CBS News and the Admirals. Don't forget Sports Highlights on nnpstv.com. We have a replay encore tonight of Heritage and Nansemond River, of course, tonight and Friday night at 7 o'clock. For more, go to nnpstv.com as well. Be taping some more basketball games. Big game this Saturday in Richmond between Richmond and VCU. Let's welcome Sonny Dearth from the Daily Press, frequent guest of mine on radio and TV. We've had him in the studio here since 1988. Sonny, how are you, my friend?
Excellent, thanks. Just fighting a cold, but otherwise fine.
Well, let's talk about, first of all, the whole Deflategate thing. It seems like it's, starting to simmer down a little bit. Now they're talking about whether Seattle will get the repeat, which is a lot better. But media day is always a circus. You saw that yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marshawn Lynch's act is getting a little stale. But, otherwise, nothing too much going on there. I think it's going to be a long time before the NFL can actually prove if anything untoward went on. But nevertheless, I expect the Seahawks to win this game. I think they got away with their bad game on offense against the Packers. They really lucked out, and I think they're going to be at their best again, and I think they'll beat the Patriots.
Yeah, they did play a few years ago, talking to Sonny Dearth as well, and you're exactly right about Lynch. I think, who is he? I mean, who is he to keep acting like that, unprofessional? Not a good role model for young college kids as well that want to get in the media business. And to me, media day is just a total joke. I totally agree, Sonny. Let's switch gears. You talk about some of the other storylines in the game. 6 Super Bowls for Brady is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, he certainly should go down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time. The thing that might get him in trouble is the Seahawks really hit hard. Their pass rush is very tough, and I think they're just going to trap Brady in the pocket, and I'm expecting 4 or 5 sacks.
Talking to Sonny Dearth, and you always have a feature in your online dailypress.com about past players from this area, and Cam Chancellor is really representing the area very well.
Yeah, he has become just an amazing player. He's one of the hardest hitters in football, generally regarded as one of the best out there. And honestly, I didn't realize he would become that good when he played for Maury and for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that good either. Kind of almost like Antoine Buffet, kind of surprised people because we never really talked about him at Denby or Howard, and all of a sudden he did great with the Colts and the 49ers. Okay, so let's switch gears to college basketball. Big game coming up with Notre Dame and Duke, and they play again next Saturday too.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, here come the Irish, just getting into the ACC, and the Notre Dame Duke game should be excellent. Should be very close. Some really good offense shown by Notre Dame. I think the Irish have surprised people as to how good they've become. And, we all knew Duke would be good, and except for a couple of games a couple weeks ago, they certainly lived up to the hype as well.
Well, Virginia's making everybody proud. Best teams, they're saying, since Jeff Lamp and Jeff Jones were there and Ralph Sampson. They got a big game against Duke as well, but Virginia's doing really well, and Bennett has got his team clicking on all cylinders.
Gosh, Stone, I mean, do they ever? They've had a couple of close calls that they've escaped them, and is there anybody harder to score against, except maybe Kentucky? I don't think so. Such a balanced team. Anybody can hurt you with the Wahoos.
Yep, and VCU, Sonny, they have been on a roll since they lost to Virginia.
Yeah, I was a little worried about them when they were 5-3, but since then they've won 12 in a row, and there is no better atmosphere than the Siegel Center. I've been there maybe 7 or 8 times during the 60-game sellout streak. 60 games. And heck, if I work different hours, I try to go there more.
Talking to Sonny Dearth, this is Greg Bicouvaris live right here on the radio on this Wednesday at 12:42. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. And I was talking to Mike Corey, who I worked with during the NBC Sports Network broadcast during the Wayne Mary Northeastern game. We were talking about, just how sometimes the sporting balls are taken for granted. Like in tennis, they switch them every few games. Basketball it's right there. The bouncing, the moisture on the floor can affect it. Football, the weather, of course. The referees, handle them the most. Some players keep them, put them in the bags. Some throw them in the stands. But baseballs are switched constantly by the umpires, and their home runs, vice versa. So probably baseball and tennis, they switch them more. But I was talking to Mike, Sonny, that this has at least opened our eyes up that this could be a concern not just for football, but it's a flagship for all the sports.
No, I don't think there are any problems noticed until this. I firmly expect the NFL to do something to change the procedure on how the footballs are used, though.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about the Australian Open, Sonny. Madison. Talk about her.
Yeah, Madison Keys, who grew up in the Quad Cities in Illinois, has just been a revelation in this event. Last night she beat Venus Williams, who had an outstanding tournament herself, showing that at 34 she's far from washed up. here comes Madison, but an even tougher challenge for her tonight, and facing the prohibitive favorite in Serena Williams. It's guaranteed to be in a U.S.-Russia women's final, since Katerina Makarova will play the much more famous Maria Sharapova.
All right, here's the sad part. We're in January. Will an American ever win a Grand Slam in men's tennis again?
Well,
seriously.
Well, yeah, Serena Williams is favored to do it.
I'm saying a man, Sonny, not a woman, a man.
An American man?
Yes.
I can't see it for a while, but, those things can change pretty quickly. But I can't see it happening in the next 2 years.
That would have been unheard of 10 to 15 years ago. All right, Sonny, leave us with your prediction. Of course, can Seattle repeat?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. I'll say 27-17.
Right? And finally, for the Wayne Mary fans out there, will they make the NCAA tournament in 2015?
The odds are slightly against it, but they have as good a chance as anybody.
Yep, very good. All right, Sonny, all the best to you, my friend, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Thank you. All right, Sonny Dearth right there from thedailypress.com. Give us a little bit of an update right there, talking to Mike Corey. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more of Sports Scene on the radio on 1650 and tunein.com. Type in WHKT, tell your friends, and enjoy your lunch.
Bay Propeller is the region's best prop shop. With 25 years under his belt, Max Allen and a team of highly skilled techs provide fast, quality service on all types of boat propellers. From 8 to 80 inches, Bay Propeller utilizes MRI propeller scan technology and dynamic spin balance. Distributor for many brands, Bay Propeller ensures you get the right propeller for your needs at discounted prices, with emphasis on made-in-the-USA propellers. Bay Propeller, next to Portsmouth Trailer Supply in Chesapeake. Call 485-5681. BayPropeller.com.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Tidewater is a fishing paradise, but if you want the best places to go and the best methods to catch the best fish, you don't want to miss Fishing Tidewater with Captain Don Lancaster every Saturday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on AM 1650. The award-winning Fishing Tidewater provides the latest news for anglers, updates on tournaments, where you can find the best boats and equipment, and where to find the big ones. You can also call in and tell some big ones. Fishing Tidewater with Captain Don Lancaster every Saturday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on K-Talk 1650. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, back live right here on the radio, right here on 1650 at 1247. You're home for CBS News. Sports Scene every Wednesday. Lock it in, 12 to 1 right here, getting you through the work week and only a couple more days till the weekend starts. Hope you enjoyed Mike Corey from ESPN and the NBC Sports Network, as well as Sonny Dearth from the Daily Press and dailypress.com. Don't forget gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive past shows and also about my background on gjbtv.com. Add me on Facebook at Greg Bicouvaris, on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Well, as you guys know, in order to compete in sports, you need a lot of fluids, whether it's water or sometimes it's Gatorade. And people always grew up drinking coffee, hot tea, hot chocolate. But you kind of wonder what these athletes have to go through for supplements. So supplements, nutrition is a big deal. But ever since the last 12 years or so, you've seen a lot of energy drinks hit the market. And we're going to talk to Brenda Van Dorn. She's a territory manager for Virginia Beach and West Coast Chill, a brand new energy drink. Brenda, good afternoon.
Hi, Hi, Greg. How are you?
Very good. How's your Wednesday?
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Very nice. Well, let's talk about what exactly is West Coast Chill.
Well, West Coast Chill is an energy drink, but it's actually a healthy energy drink because it doesn't have any caffeine or sugar in it. And those are two of the main complaints of people that drink energy drinks today is that they get shaky from all the caffeine, and they just may not want to put that amount of caffeine in their body. So West Coast Chill came up with an alternative, something healthy that has vitamin B12, B6, vitamin C in it. It's a great pre-workout drink. It's just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And the website's westcoastchill.com. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As we're talking to Brenda Van Dorn. And Brenda, that's important because, water sometimes just doesn't cut it.
That's true. And there's times where even before you do sports, maybe when you get up in the morning, you might want that extra little energy, but you don't really want a cup of coffee or, the caffeine. West Coast Chill is the perfect thing to grab in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, how often should you drink them?
Well, it depends. People drink thousands of energy drinks all day long. I mean, it's crazy. But, 1 or 2 a day, I think, is a good amount with that. Mm-hmm. And it's all natural type stuff. It's, it's vitamins and herbs and stuff like that that's good for you.
All right. Where are they available at?
That's a good question. We just now got into the GNC stores,
mm-hmm.
so you can go to most any GNC and find us. 7-Eleven, some of the 7-Elevens carry it. A lot of the convenience stores. I'm in about 80 different locations in the Hampton Roads area right now. Border Station, Happy Shoppers, MacArthur Pharmacy, Malbon's. If you don't see us, just ask. Make sure you tell the people that you want to, know if they have West Coast Chill and you want to try it.
How about the name? I mean, was it based in the West Coast?
It is. They're out of Irvine, California. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to get them to change it to East Coast, but they won't go for that.
Right.
Someone actually said they finally are on the right coast now that they're on the East Coast.
That's it. The website, again, is westcoastchill.com. I love the name. Also, the colors on the can are very creative as well.
They are. It's fun. And your callers may actually see us, or your listeners may see me driving around in this really tripped-out Jeep that I drive in.
Mm-hmm.
If you see me, wave to me. If I'm stopped somewhere, let me know, and I'll give you a free can just to try it out.
There you go. You never know where she's going to be. We're not going to tell you. We don't want no creepy married guys going after you here. So let's just, if you see Brenda, just honk the horn and ask her for a drink. And I'm sure it's called West Coast Chill. And you're that part of the image and the branding, and people see that first. You're exactly right.
That's right, Craig. And make sure that they tell me that they heard me on your show, too.
That's it. On Sports Scene, of course, we'll be having her on again as we get to the spring and the summer. Again, no sugar, no caffeine, pure energy, fortified with vitamins, minerals, and herbs. What kind of herbs?
Oh, there's all kinds of good stuff. We have some ginseng root and ginkgo and just, the list goes on. And that's on our website. If anybody wants to go and actually check out all the ingredients, they can do that.
Mm-hmm. Typical day for you, like Brenda, with this product during business hours?
Crazy. Start out early in the morning because most of the convenience stores are busy at that time. Everybody's trying to get their energy before they get into their office.
Mm-hmm.
So they're stopping in, getting their coffee, their energy drinks. So I stop in and see them there. We do tastings throughout the Hampton Roads area, so you may see our branding people out. If you do, say hi to them. We have, fun giveaways. If you buy 2 in the store and you see us, we give you a free can. It's crazy. It's busy, and people are always taking pictures of the Jeep with me in it or me not in it. It's a lot of fun.
Let's give a little hint. What city are you going to be in today, the rest of the hour? You got 4 hours left during business hours. What city will you be in?
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to be in Chesapeake.
There you go. We won't say where in Chesapeake, but she'll be there. If you see that vehicle, honk, and you'll see West Coast Chill, get a drink from Brenda Van Dorn. Brenda, we'll talk to you again down the road.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. All right,
talk
Ken,
to you soon.
Very good. All right, Ken, you talk about people grew up in a coffee-crazed world. The energy drinks have really dominated the market in the last 12 years.
Yeah, and I don't know why they taste terrible. Most of them. Now, I haven't tried Brenda's. That sounds like it might actually be pretty good, but some of those things, they're just, oh, my goodness.
I'll have to bring one in next week. I'll have to get one, and you have to try it and taste for yourself, but I'm sure it's very, very good.
Yeah, hers sounds good. Some of the other ones, they put just everything under the kitchen sink into it, and it's like,
yeah.
ooh.
I've actually had hers. I can speak for for it. It's excellent, folks. West Coast Chill is the website, westcoastchill.com. Of course, hope you enjoyed our guest so far. Now we got our favorite segment after these messages. What tees me off?
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddie's. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Bay Propeller is the region's best prop shop. With 25 years under his belt, Max Allen and a team of highly skilled techs provide fast, quality service on all types of boat propellers. From 8 to 80 inches, Bay Propeller utilizes MRI propeller scan technology and dynamic spin balance. Distributor for many brands, Bay Propeller ensures you get the right propeller for your needs at discounted prices with emphasis on made-in-the-USA propellers. Bay Propeller, next to Portsmouth Trailer Supply in Chesapeake. Call 485-5681. BayPropeller.com.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us. Final few moments of the show. Don't forget, next Wednesday, 12 to 1, with a very special guest on Sports Scene. Follow it on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, HROnlineMall.com. Add me on Facebook, Greg Bicouvaris, and, of course, my background on GJBTV.com. Big college basketball game coming up this Saturday. Of course, Richmond and VCU. Sports Highlights on NNPSTV.com. Nansman River versus Heritage tonight in Newport News on cable TV on Channel 47, 517 on Cox Cable, 47, 517, NNPSTV.com. Replay encore. A game, I'll give you a little hint. Heritage won. There you go. All right, Ken, let's get to what tees me off.
What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
Ken, spam emails, dear sir, dear madam, dear honey, waiting for your reply, and spam Facebook followers, spam Twitter followers.
Yeah, well, there's not much you can do about it. You just have to be careful about who you friend and who you follow and who follows you and that sort of thing.
It's called the one word, block.
Usually it's not too hard to figure out if it's a spammer. If it's a male name and it's this obvious female model in this very alluring pose, it's probably a spammer.
And saying, buy Twitter followers. Really, who cares?
If all of their friends listed all have names that look like Scrabble tiles thrown out on the floor, it's probably a spammer.
Ken, pen pals by either email or text. I'm sorry, folks, this is 2015, not 1975. Nobody wants to be just pen pals by emails or text, no matter where you're at.
Do you actually get some of those?
Sometimes there are people that just want to text. What's happened is, I've said this a long time ago, it's called cyber courage. There's people that are more confident behind email, you know this, texting, than verbally talking and face-to-face. And I think it's affecting the young generation very much with job interviews, too.
It probably is, because they don't know how to put a sentence together, how to think in complete sentences, to enunciate properly, to communicate properly. You're right. I mean, unless it's
spelling.
Yeah, unless it's the shorthand that they use on texting, they don't know how to talk.
Ken, you never saw fans sitting at courtside at basketball games years ago. It was like off limits. Now these big donors are paying big bucks to sit next to the athletes and coaches. Well, guess what, fans? Act responsible sitting next to them. They're really they would never invite you to sit next to them, but you're paying, so act responsible as an adult.
I don't understand it myself. Do I really get smacked in the face with a ball or sit next to a guy that's going to need a shower real bad? No, I'll sit up in the balcony seat somewhere.
How about running into former phony bosses at public places, Ken. Randomly. I did this past Saturday for a brief time.
Really?
He was a boss for like about 2 months, but I never claimed him as a boss.
Oh,
rule number 1, I have no boss. Rule number 2, look at rule number 1. All right, Ken. Employees at restaurants worrying about coupons when they're not the managers.
I'm not running into that either, but you run into all the nutcases.
I do. How about contractors working on your street? Hello, construction company. I'm not going to say who you are, that start at 6 o'clock in the morning, end at 5 o'clock, and wonder what time I'm getting in my house, what time I'm leaving. Thank you for opening up my driveway. I really, really appreciate that. And for the neighbor that really wanted this construction work done in the first place, well, let's hope this doesn't happen again anytime soon. But how about you can hear their voices, Ken, over noise, over music, even in people in cars that you can hear their phone conversations. They're not in broadcasting, but they have loud voices.
Yeah, well, I guess they're probably 20 to 30% deaf from all the loud construction stuff going on. So everything they're yelling at each other, hey, Phil!
And you can hear it in your house, in your car, no stoplight, wherever. I want to thank Mike Corey from ESPN, NBC Sports Network, Sonny Dearth from the Daily Press, dailypress.com, Brenda Van Dorn from westcoastchill.com. Great guests. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Thanks for listening to Sports Scene on 1650 and tunein.com. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 1 o'clock.